तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः.
Om Tava Kathāmritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibirīditam Kalmashāpaham Shravanamangalam Shrimadātatam Bhuvi Grunanti Ye Bhurida Jana. We are studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, and we are still in the conversations of 15th June 1884, when Surendra had celebrated a festival in his house, and he had engaged a musician. That singer part is over. After that, we find Pratap Muzumdar has come of the Brahma Samaj. And when Thakur asks him that now enough of this quarrel and Samaj and all that, you should put your mind to God now. To that he replies, I accept that, but I am working because Keshav's name should be perpetuated. Now these are the pretexts under which we come back to the world. And Thakur knows it well. And he says, you don't have to do for something for Keshav's name. And he tells stories to impress upon him that it is only the God who can do that. And if God does not will, Keshav's name will not remain. If God wills, it will remain. So you don't have to worry about that. Your only concern is to put your mind in God. Now that talk is going on. And now we come to this. Thakur talked about Mahendranāth and said that there is a boy Narendra. Then Pratap asks, who is Narendra? But Thakur does not want Pratap to know more about Narendra. So he said he is a boy. That's all. Don't bother about it. The story is telling that when Thakur told that there is a cup of nectar, and if you are a fly, how will you take it? And Narendra said that I will sit on the edge. Otherwise I will die. Thakur said, with the cup of nectar, how will you die? So, merging in God is immortality. Your Bengali, page 457. Now there is other thing which Thakur tells, and that is in reference to comments by Shivnath. Shivnath of Brahma Samaj told that Thakur thinks too much of God, so he has gone out of his head. And that Thakur has replied, but that he refers to here again. By plunging into it, a man does not die, he becomes immortal. Man does not lose his consciousness by being mad about God. So, Buddhi, Bhramsha, madness, this can never occur because he is thinking of consciousness, the source of all buddhis. Up to that we read. To the devotees, When we find to the devotees, that means it is not particularly to Pratap. Pratap included, and same thing. Thakur has repeated this thing ad infinitum in gospel. The feeling of I and mine is ignorance. And beautiful example is giving here, practical. People say that Rani Rasmani built the Kali temple. But nobody says it was the work of God. They say that such and such a person established the Brahma Samaj without taking the name Thakur is telling. Huh? But nobody says it was founded through the will of God. This feeling, I am the doer, is ignorance. Thakur's definition of knowledge and ignorance is very straight. On the contrary, the idea, oh God, thou art the doer and I am only an instrument. Thou art the operator and I am the machine, is knowledge. After attaining knowledge, a man says, oh God, nothing belongs to me. Neither this house of worship, nor this Kali temple, nor this Brahma Samaj. These are all thine. He extends this. Huh? Wife, son, and family do not belong to me. They are all thine. So we have been always thinking that Thakur said, in your own house, live like a maid servant in a rich man's house. And through Mahapurush Maharaj's example, we have decided that this rich man is God. Now here directly is telling that. So some new ideas are coming. Wife, son, and family do not belong to me. Now there are three different ideas. Mine is one thing. Not mine, stranger is another thing. Belonging to God is the third thing. If they belong to God, I love God. So I will take the utmost care for them, but without attachment. They are not mine. If they are stranger, I will not take care for them. So here just it is not that they are not mine, it is God's. So this is a new idea that whatever we think we possess, now this is a little extension of that doership. So the question is I and mine, whether doership or possessorship. So we understand Thakur's definition of this doership. To my mind, it appeals that I and mine is ignorance. Now, one small thing had come in last 2-3 days that we find in Shankaracharya's or in Gita as we read it. This state is called Jnana Nishtha. And after I am the doer is gone, there is a trace of I am the experiencer. So this state is like Mukti but not Mukti. But in one place we found, Thakur is telling, you think you are meditating, that is also work. So Thakur's definition of I am the worker is just subject-object relation, nothing more. Now whether the object is of the world abstract object like meditation, or God himself as the object. So long as I and mine are there, it is ignorance. Now, how to get rid of it? The way is that Kachami Pakami decided that the definition of I should not be from the body. Definition of I should be from God. But that Pakami also is not perfection. When there will be no I, then only that is perfect. And Thakur has replied, people have asked yesterday only, that is God, is I totally effaced? Thakur said, yes, God sometimes effaces it in Samadhi. Other than Samadhi, there is I. But this I is not harmful. So from the Vedantic point of view, let us call it the illumined I. The I which knows that I am not real. I which knows that everything belongs to God. Now that is it with Thakur is said. So another thing came to my mind. The discussion was whether there is any difference between Shankaracharya and Thakur. Somebody told me that Gurudas Maharaj asked Turiyan Swami about it, and Turiyan Swami said, yes, there is a difference. And that difference is after Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Shankar says everything over. But that is half truth. God is not only transcendent, he is immanent. But this immanence is different from those who have not realized the Nirguna at all. Because everywhere Thakur says after Nirvikalpa Samadhi. After Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So this Nirgun Brahma itself is Sagun Brahma. And by not emphasizing it, Shankar has missed a whole sphere of love of God, of Gopi's love, of so many relations with God. In the Mandukya Karikas, Gaudapada proposed 35 relations with God. In Gita, we have so many relations of God. And Vaishnavas have their Pancha Bhavas. And God as the mother is another Bhava. So this all is either on the way to realize God, or if it is after realizing God, then it is for the, you may say, for Leela, for play, for tasting the bliss of God. And there the brightest example is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because they say Krishna wanted to know how Radha enjoys me. And so he has become Radha from outside and Krishna inside. Anyway, so let us not enter it. But one thing is more, Thakur has said many times, Sab shialer akra, all the jackals cry in the same voice. So if Shankar does not cry in the same voice, then we have to deny that he is a man of Brahman. But Thakur has accepted that. So again it comes back to emphasis. But the difference is that Holy Mother is the wisest person. She said that all the Mahapurushas have emphasized some aspect of spirituality. And so all other aspects have become suppressed. They are not suppressed. But when a Mahapurush emphasizes something, his disciples are carried away. And they think that is the only truth. So Shankarites, like Totapuri, his knowledge is half knowledge. And Thakur had to correct it. And in Swamiji's case, Thakur did not want that to happen. So when Swamiji said, I will always remain in Samadhi, come out only for taking food. Thakur did not like it. He says, beyond Samadhi, there is a state that जो कुछ है सो तू ही है. Whatever is there is you yourself. So immanence is equally emphasized by Thakur, which is not in Shankaracharya. He accepts immanence in vital places because that is the truth. But he has not emphasized it sufficiently. Now to understand this, I always show the other extreme. Jnaneshwar has emphasized immanence fully. He has to accept transcendence. So truth is accepted, the emphasis is different. And in Thakur we find Mother is telling that what he was doing, he was living with God all the time. And in as many ways God can be experienced, he was experiencing. And he was emphasizing all things equally. So that is the Avatara Varishta. And here we find this doership idea extended. I and mine is ignorance. That is what Thakur says. As a part of I and mine, I am doing. You see in Vedanta, Nama Rupa Kriya, that is the world. That a pot is a name and it has a shape. But it does some work of storing water. So this is what is there. So this is Thakur's Advaita. Now people say Advaita. Thakur has repeatedly said Advaita is the last word. So Thakur is not telling something different from Advaita, but Thakur's Advaita is inclusive. That is the difference. Laying equal emphasis on immanence. And now Thakur has provided for sadhakas of all types. Through immanence, they can climb to transcendence. And so we find Thakur dealing with devotees in a different way. But mind you, the gospel is written by Master Mahashaya, who was an also. And if we judge Thakur only from the gospel, it will be wrong. Because we know certainly, Swami Vivekananda has said, Swami Premananda also has said, that when he used to talk to the young boys who would become monks afterwards, he used to go up to the gate of Dakshineshwar to see that no household is present. So he has prepared them in a different way. Some ignorant people, our own, now he is outside sadhu, he said, what else can he tell? Has he not told about this sannyasi in the gospel? But the fact stands. So the question is, for sannyasi, he is prescribing the Jnana Marga. And that should not be heard by the household. So though we are taking gospel class, we have to narrate all these things. Okay? Now let us proceed. So we got two new things here. That so and so did so and so is wrong. Everything happens with God's will. And the moment we forget this, I comes and it is ignored. And the second is that wife, son and family does not belong to me. They are all thine. Now we should not conclude here that thine means your wife, your son. No, they do not belong to me. They belong to you in whatever way it may be. So this possessiveness is ignorance. Now in this context, people think that Swami Pitambarananda created the Ramakrishna Mission. But Thakur's disciples, Mahapurush Maharaj, Sardan Swamiji, both have repeatedly said, no, Thakur himself has created. Swami Pitambarananda has given a form, and that also according to Thakur's orders. Now, one speciality of Thakur, which you find, now how to say it is absent in Shankaracharya, not emphasized, that is the only thing we can say. Because after describing the sadhana chatushtaya, in a book like Viveka Chudamani, Shankar says moksha sadhana samagram bhaktire vagari asi. Now the Vedantis don't believe that what we can do. So that has been what I have been taught. That Shankar as we know him is only through Shankarites. And there all these charges which Swamiji has given, text torturing and all that are clear. Now I give an example. Now that in Kathopanishad, some sort of immanence is described. And then there in Shankar Bhashya, Shankar has used the word Vishnu. We were taught like that. Now the sub-commentators have Vishli Vyaptattva, all-pervading. All-pervading was already there. Why Shankar brought Vishnu? Because he knows that when I bring Vishnu, the devotion will arise. Now these are the small points. If we miss, we have missed everything. So to love these objects, regarding them as one's own is Maya. But to love all things is Daya, without the consideration of might. If we equally love all, then that is Daya. You don't get in Bengali. Such love comes from love of God, from Daya. Today in the morning we read the same thing in Swami Vivekananda's Bhakti. Somebody has commented it is very difficult. Difficult definitely. And that in Bhakti Yoga Swamiji has told, Tadiyata is fulfillment of life. After fulfillment, Sarva Tadbhav and Apratikulya. That means nobody is his enemy. He does not take anybody as his enemy. And the example of Pawari Baba is that a snake bit him, he became unconscious. And when he came to consciousness, he said, a messenger had come from my beloved. And Swamiji there says, death welcome, Bimari welcome, like that. So, this is definitely high, and don't imagine that you will get it immediately. After Tadiyata, these are the developments. So when you have Nirvikalpa, and that Thakur has never forgotten. So we find in Thakur, new thing, love of God. Fulfillment, Nirvikalpa Samadhi. But after Nirvikalpa Samadhi, now something are really wonderful. Thakur says you can talk to God, you can touch him, you can smell him. After Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So these are not on the way. So God, the person, depends upon God the impersonal. But he is as real as that. So there are very, very special features in Thakur, there is no doubt about it. And Thakur came to remove all types of narrowness. That is also true. So Thakur has opened the field to everybody in the world. That is the funny thing. Through love. To love those things, regarding them as one's own, is Maya. But to love all those things is there. All things, without thinking they are mine. Even though they may not be yours. Compassion. To love only the members of the Brahma Samaj or of one's own family is Maya. So he has extended it. So not only own family, but Samaj also. To love one's own countrymen is Maya. But to love the people of all countries, to love the members of all religions is Daya. Such love comes from love of God, from Daya. So in Bhakti Yoga Swamiji was telling, without loving this Samashti, we cannot love the Veshti. It is only attachment. But if you love this Samashti, automatically you love all the Veshtis, without any difference. Maya entangles a man and turns him away from God. That is Maya. But through Daya, one realizes God. Sages like Shukadeva and Narada always cherish Daya in their hearts. Pratap. Revered sir, are those who live with you making progress in spiritual life? So Pratap wants to know the result of Thakur's teaching, those who accept Thakur's teaching, because he is not fully believing what Thakur said. Thakur will not give any direct answer. He will give the answer. I tell people that there is nothing wrong in the life of the world, but they must live in the world because the Brahma Samaj did not live in sannyasa. But they must live in the world as a maid servant lives in her master's home. Referring to her master's house, she says, that is our house. But her real home is perhaps in a faraway village. Pointing out her master's house to others, she says, no doubt, this is our house. But in her heart, she knows very well that it doesn't belong to her and that her own house is in a faraway village. She brings up her master's son and says, my Hari has grown very naughty, or my Hari doesn't like sweets. Though she repeats my Hari with her lips, yet she knows in her heart that Hari doesn't belong to her, that he is her master's son. Thus I say to those who visit me, so first understand what is my teaching. Why don't you live in the world? There is no harm in that, but always keep in your mind on God. Know for certain that house, family, and property are not yours. In Hindi, the householder's life is described in 3 words: Jameen, Joru, or Rupaya. So property is Rupaya here, Joru is family, and Jameen is house. They are gods. your real home is in God. Also ask them to pray always with a longing heart for love of God's lotus feet. So that is the main teaching, only mine, yours, love of God, love of God, love of God. And except that shloka, it does not find a mention in Shankar. But Shankar in every book on Advaita has told us that everything happens when God is pleased. That is repeated. One place he says why you should do work to please God, and then God will give you sadhana. Again, the conversation turned to the English people. But Thakur's teaching is unique, sweet, and very clear. So the difference is not householder or sannyasi, in the spirit within. A devotee said, Sir, I understand that nowadays the Pandits of England do not believe in the existence of God. Now this has come very much to India. People who believe in God are looked down upon as credulous. Pratap, however they may talk, I don't believe that any of them is a real atheist. Many of them have had to admit that there is a great power behind the activities of the universe. So concept of God is a power. Master, well, that is enough. They believe in Shakti, don't they? Then why should they be atheist? Pratap, they also believe in the moral government of the universe. You understand moral government? If you do good work, you will get good results. That is the moral government of the universe. Pratap was now about to take leave of the master. And master will give him a parting advice again. Master to Pratap. Now it is not to other devotees. Huh? What more shall I say to you? My only request is that you do not involve yourself in quarrels and dissensions anymore. Another thing, it is woman and gold that keeps men away from God. That is the barrier. Don't you find that everyone has nothing but praise for his own wife? Allah, a wife may be good or bad, but if you ask her husband about her, he will always say, oh, she is very good. What is the meaning of this? She is very good. She gives happiness to him. That's At this point, Pratap bade the master goodbye. He did not wait, Master Macha's comment, he did not wait to hear the end of Sri Ramakrishna's words about the renunciation of woman and gold. Those burning words touched the hearts of the devotees and were carried away on the wind through the gently rustling leaves in the garden. But unaffected is Pratap. A few minutes later, Mani Mallik said to Sri Ramakrishna, Sir, it is time for you to leave for Dakshineshwar. Today, Keshav's mother and the other ladies of his family are going to the temple garden to visit you. They will be hurt if they do not find you there. Mani Mallik is a Brahma devotee, na? Keshav had passed away only a few months before. His old mother and his other relatives wanted to visit the master. Master to Mani Mallik, don't hurry me, please. I didn't sleep well. I can't rush. They are going to Dakshineshwar. What am I to do about it? They will stroll in the garden and enjoy it thoroughly. I don't know her. After resting a little, for the master was ready to leave for Dakshineshwar, he was thinking of Surendra's welfare. He visited the different rooms, softly chanting the holy name of God. Suddenly he stood still and said, I didn't eat any luchi at mealtime. Bring me a little now. He ate only a crumb and said, there is much meaning in my asking for the luchi. That means the householder should have given everything. If I should remember that I hadn't eaten any at Surendra's house, then I should want to come back for it. So he shows that desire will pull him back. Actually, it is the devotee's benefit that he wants to say. Now this has become a thing of humor to Manimalli. Manimalli, that would have been nice. Then we too should have come with you. The devotees laugh. So here ends at 15 June. We shift to Friday, June 20, 1884. It was dusk, so this has created a turmoil in my mind. Difference between Shankar and Thakur. So one day said, I apologize for my refusing that there is any difference. I referred to some other. Jagadananda was a great Vedantist, and he said that the only difference is emphasis. The only point is that emphasis has gone too far, and all the beauty is lost. Now, what beauty Thakur is proposing to the household devotees is not after Nirvikalpa Samadhi. He wants to engage their mind in love of God somehow or other. Throughout his life, we see this. The sannyasis is training in a different way. But householder devotees, the main thing is love, 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 love for God. And once this love for God is cultivated, it will take them to the highest. It was thus Sri Ramakrishna was sitting in his room, so not at Surendra's house now, absorbed in contemplation of the Divine Mother. Now and then he was chanting her name. Rakal, other M, and several other devotees were with him. After a while, the evening worship began in the temples. Adhar left the room to see the worship. Sri Ramakrishna and M conversed. Master, tell me, does Baburam attend to continue his studies? I said to him, continue your studies to set an example to others. What is an example to others? After Sita had been set free, Vibhishana refused to become king of Ceylon. Rama said to him, you should become king to open the eyes of the ignorant. Otherwise, they will ask you, what you have gained as a result of serving me? They will be pleased to see you acquire the kingdom. I noticed the other day that Babu Ram, Bhavanath and Harish have a feminine nature. He saw Babu Ram as a Devi, as a goddess. No, that is not mentioned there. That he says he is of Radha's Amsha. In a vision, I saw Babu Ram as a goddess with a necklace around her neck and with women companions about her. He has received something in a dream. His body is pure. Only a very little effort will awaken his spiritual consciousness. Because purity is the main thing. You see, why I am having some difficulty about my physical needs. Rida had gone away. It will be nice if Babu Ram lives with me. The nature of these attendants of mine is undergoing a change. That is reply to Pratap, but Pratap is gone. Latu is always tense with spiritual emotion. He is about to merge himself in God. Rakal is getting into such a spiritual mood that he can't do anything even for himself. I have to get water for him. He isn't of much service to me. Among the youngsters, Baburam and Niranjan are rather exceptional. If other boys come in the future, they will, it seems to me, receive instruction and then go away. Not as serving Thakur and all. But I don't want Baburam to tear himself away from his family. It may make a trouble at home. Finally, Thakur asked Baburam's mother to give that. Smiling. When I ask him, why don't you come? He says, why not make me come? He looks at Rakal and weeps. He says Rakal is very happy here. So something has just remained in the family. Rakal now lives here as one of the family, Thakur's family. I know that he will never again be attached to the world. He said that worldly enjoyments have become tasteless to him. His wife came here on her way to Konnagar. She is 14. He too was asked to go to Konnagar, but he didn't go. He said, I don't like merriment and gaiety. What do you think of Niranjan? M. He is very handsome. Master, no, I am not asking about his looks. He is guileless. One can easily realize God if one is free from guile. In Thakur's vision, Naren is made born from Dasharath. Niranjan in Dasharatha's Amsha.
Ram.
Dasharath.
Not Ram, sir?
Ram is avatar himself. Thakur has told that Dasharatha and Nanda were very guileless. Such a heart is like well-cultivated land from which all the stones have been removed. No sooner is the seed sown than it germinates. The fruit also appears quickly. Niranjan will not marry. It is woman and gold that causes entanglement. Isn't that so? Asking him. Yes, sir. Master, what will one gain by renouncing bitter leaf and tobacco? That somebody had reported Bhavanath has given bitter leaf and tobacco. And Thakur said, that is not much. The real renunciation is the renunciation of woman and gold. So this has no doubt in Thakur's mind. And this is made by love of God. I came to know in an ecstatic mood that though Niranjan had accepted a job in an office, he would not be stained by it. He is earning money for his mother. There is no harm in that. To work you are doing, the work you are doing, won't injure you either. What are you doing is good. Suppose a clerk is sent to jail. He is shut up there and chained, and at last he is released. Does he cut capers after his release? That means dance and joy only. Of course not. He works again as a clerk. So the external form does not change by realization. It is not your intention to accumulate money. You only want to support your family. Otherwise, where will they go? We need not repeat again and again that Tukaram's ideal Thakur would never have. M. I shall be relieved if someone takes charge of them. Master, that is true. But now do this as well as that. Because finally M dissociated himself and used to stay alone. M. It is great luck to be able to renounce everything. Master, that is true. But people act according to their inherent tendencies. You have a few more duties to perform. After that, these are over, you will have peace. Then you will be released. A man cannot easily get out of the hospital once his name is registered there. He is discharged only when he is completely cured. The devotees who come here may be divided into two groups. Now let us see. One group says, "Oh God, give me liberation." Another group belonging to the inner circle doesn't talk that way. They are satisfied if they can know two things. First, who I am. Second, who they are and what their relationship to me is. You belong to this second group otherwise. So straight away is true. Leela Sahajar of Thakur. Bhavanath, Baburam and a few others have a feminine nature. Harish sleeps in a woman's cloth. Baburam says that he too likes the womanly attitude. So I am right. Bhavanath also is like that. But Narendra, Rakhal and Niranjan have a masculine nature. Rakhal also. Please tell me one thing. What is the... So these things shows inner vision is different. Please tell me one thing. What is the significance of my having hurt my arm? Once my teeth were broken while I was in a state of ecstasy. It is the arm this time. Seeing him silent, the master himself continued the conversation. M has no reply. Master, my arm was broken in order to destroy my ego to its very root. Now I cannot find my ego within myself anymore. When I search for it, I see God alone. What was Thakur's ego?
Mother has kept some ego.
No, I am a Thakur's devotee, then why am I?
But then
One can never attain God without completely getting rid of the ego. You must have noticed that the chatak bird has its nest on the ground but soars up very high. Captain says, I haven't acquired any occult powers because I eat fish. Everybody has his own explanation. I tremble with fear lest I should acquire those powers. If I should have them, then this place would be turned into a hospital or a dispensary. People would come, flock here and ask me to cure their illness. Is it good to have occult powers? Him. No, sir. You have said to us that a man cannot realize God if he possesses even one of the 8 occult powers. Master, right you are. Only the small-minded seek them. If one asks something of a rich man, one no longer receives any favor from him. The rich man doesn't allow such a person to ride in the same carriage with him. A rich man is God everywhere. Even if he does, he doesn't allow the man to sit near him. Therefore, love without any selfish motive is best. So we are gathering gems from Thakur's teaching. God with form and the formless God are both equally true. What do you say? One cannot keep one's mind on the formless God a long time. That is why God assumes form for his devotees. What do you say means Master was believing in Nirakar in the beginning. And now he changed also. Captain makes a nice remark in this connection. He said that when a bird gets tired of soaring very high, it perches on a tree and rests. First is the formless God, and then comes God with form. Soars high, but gets tired, and with a form, it can sit comfortably. I shall have to go to your house once. I saw in a vision that the houses of other Balaram and Surendra were so many places for our foregathering, but it makes no difference to me whether they come here or not. But God is blessing them. That's right. Why should it be so? One must feel misery if one feels happiness, but you are beyond both. Master, yes. Further, I think of the magician and his magic. The magician alone is real, his magic is illusory. So this is his world on one side continuously. Like a dream, I realized this when I heard the Chandi recited. Shumba and Nishumba were scarcely born when I learned that they both were dead. There is a funny story about it. In Brahma's assembly, Narad was sitting and suddenly he stood up and clapped. And after a minute, he again clapped. What happened? Ravana was born and Ravana is dead. M was reflecting on these words when the master said, "Do you know what it is like? It is as if there were a flower with 25 layers of petals and you cut them all with one stroke." That conversation is not mentioned here, but now he mentions it. When Thakur said this, he was reflecting on it. So all attachments to go together. The idea of responsibility. Thakur is continuing, yes. So that is another way of attachment. Goodness gracious, men like Shankaracharya and Shukadeva kept the ego of knowledge. It is not for man to show compassion, but for God. One feels compassion as long as one has the ego of knowledge. And it is God himself who has become the ego of knowledge. Oh, pray. God has kept ego of knowledge. God himself has become the ego of. So total immanence. You may feel 1,000 times that it is all magic, but you are still under the control of the Divine Mother. You cannot escape her. You are not free. You must do what she makes you do. A man attains Brahmajnana only when it is given to him by the Adya Shakti, the Divine Mother. Then alone does he see the whole thing as magic, otherwise not. As long as the slightest trace of ego remains, one lives within the jurisdiction of the Adya Shakti. One is under her sway. One cannot go beyond her. With the help of the Adya Shakti, God spores as an incarnation, and through his Shakti incarnates himself as man. Then alone does it become possible for the incarnation to carry on his work. Everything is due to the Shakti of the divine love. That is the avatar's consciousness. When anyone asks the former manager of the temple garden a great favor, the manager would say, come after 2 or 3 days. He must ask the proprietor's permission. Examples from the world of God will incarnate himself as Kalki at the end of the Kali Yuga. So Thakur also accepting this idea, he will be born as the son of a Brahmin. Suddenly and unexpectedly, a sword and horse will come to him. He will cut all enemies. Adhar returned to the master's room after watching the evening worship in the temples. Master to Adhar and the others. Bhuvan was here and brought me 25 Bombay mangoes and some sweets. Bhuvan was a dasi of Rani Rasmani. She said to me, will you eat a mango? I said, my stomach is heavy today. And to tell you the truth, I am feeling uncomfortable after eating a few of these sweets. Because Bhuvan's character was not good previously. Bhuvana Mohini was a nurse who used to visit Sri Ramakrishna now and then. The master could not eat the food offering of everyone, especially physicians and nurses. It was because they accepted money from the sick in spite of the suffering of those people. Mother, master, Keshav Sen's mother, sisters, and the other relatives came here, so I had to dance a little. I had to entertain them. What else could I do? They were so grief-stricken. Thakur is Bahurupya. Anything he can do for it. Okay, we have completed the 20th September also. Om Tava Kathāmritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibiriditam Kalmashapam Shravanamangalam Shrimadaatatam Bhuvi Grunanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Order. For a moment it had gone and came back. लेके आए लाइट भी वो बंद कर रहे थे फिर लगा दिया मुझे दिख नहीं रहा था कुछ बहुत बारीक अक्षर है ना हो गया